Hi, this is Bill Hartzer, and today is Thursday, October 8th, 2020. This is the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer, the Digital Marketing with Bill Hartzer podcast for Thursday, October 8th, 2020. And today I want to talk actually not necessarily about digital marketing, but get a little bit deeper and into SEO. And one of the topics that I really is important to me, and something that really should be important to search engine rankings and to you as well, is in fact internal links. So let's talk a little bit about today internal links on your website, and go through a little bit couple different scenarios, and give you a little bit idea about how you can start thinking about optimizing your internal links. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll show you today. And keep in mind, this is the audio version. You're probably listening to the audio version of the podcast. I do have this available on YouTube, on YouTube as well. So if you like to look specifically into the video version, that is available. But I think, hopefully that just listening here will give you some ideas about how you can start optimizing your internal links and what you need to kind of look for when doing that. So first I'm going to go to Google, and I do a site called Hartzer.com. And I'm going to use Hartzer.com as an example because I know there actually are a few issues that need to be dealt with as far as the internal links go. And a few things that I do normally when I am creating new content on the site. Let's say, for example, a blog post. I have a new blog post, and I'm writing this blog post about domain names. And one of the things I like to write about and provide consulting with is internet domain names. So let's take a look. I'm going to do a search for the site called Hartzer.com, but I'm looking. In this case, it's like about 237 pages on the site. In this case, I'm going to do a keyword because I'm going to add a keyword to the search. Because what happens, I'm going to specifically add domain names. So the search is site:hartzer.com domain name. And I'll put an S on domain names because I'm writing a blog post about that has domain name, mentions domain names, and that's the topic. So that's essentially the keyword. So we do a site:yourdomain.com / keyword. That'll give you a list of the pages that Google thinks are most relevant to that keyword. Okay, and we want to narrow it down just to pages on your site. So if we search, we'll find that there's actually 94 pages that mention domain names. Well, these are the most relevant ones. So when I write this post, the idea here is that I write the blog post, but I want to also add some links to some other key pages on my site to help those pages rank well. Okay, those are internal links. An internal link is when you are linking from one particular web page on your website to another page on that same domain name. And I'll mention external links. External links are actually links from other websites pointing to your website. So we're talking right now about internal links. So let's find, we're writing a blog post specifically about domain names or particular keywords. So we do site:hartzer.com / domain names, and we'll find that we actually have a major section on the site about domain names. And then, for example, we have some other ideas about other pages. The second, when should you develop a domain name, how, domain name value, and domain name background check, and so forth. And so we have several different pages that we can link to. But let's say, okay, the top three. It doesn't, if a typical blog post, we don't want to have too many outgoing links. It kind of gets busy. and kind of maybe takes away a little bit from the content of that post. But having 3 to 5 links to other pages on your website, within the paragraphs of text, like if you mention domain names, would you want to link to your category page about domain names? And if you link, if you mention something else, you'll want to link actually to that something else. Okay, so you want to actually have those links, not just in navigation, but you want them actually internally on the site, which means that they are also in the middle of a sentence. It kind of gives some relevance to that particular page, because we know that when the search engines are looking at a link, they consider the words before and after and the context of that link, that you're not just you're not talking and then all of a sudden there's something random that's in there. It needs to kind of make sense that you're linking over to that. Now this is how, that's the start of internal links and the concept. Now let's look at a couple different things I want to look at. The first I want to look at, using this is a paid tool, but majestic.com that does, I would say the best job about finding and showing you link data, which basically not only just, links on your own site and your most important pages, but basically we want to see all the pages on our site that have links from other external websites. So we do a search, we have, the main data about our website, but we want to actually look at the Pages tab. In the Pages tab specifically, we can see which pages on our website have the most links from other websites, meaning that essentially, whatever website links over to maybe your homepage. Okay, they'll link to your homepage, but maybe you wrote and did some research. For example, I did some research a while back about domain names, and that got links from other websites, kind of naturally, people mentioning the research that I did, as well as maybe there's some tweets and there's some Facebook pages linking over, whatever it is, and other blog posts and other news websites linking to an internal page on my site, not just the home page. And what's natural, if you look at all the links to your website, is natural to have links not just to your home page, but also links to in other pages, links to blog posts, links to services pages, links to articles you have on your site. Maybe you have articles on other websites and they link to a certain employee's bio on your website. Those are, that's natural, and that happens. If you have a situation where all of your links are, to your website are all pointing to your homepage, that's not natural, and so that's not going to be something that that happens to most sites, and so it's kind of odd. And the search engines know. They do know, who's linking to whom and how they're linking and so forth. They understand that. So when we look at a list of links here, I can see that the most links appear to be pointing to the homepage, which is natural. That happens. And also, they're going to be links to, hopefully, links to certain blog posts maybe that you wrote or articles. And so we can actually see which pages have a lot of links. And then we can also, at the same time, we can also see, certain pages maybe that only have 1 or 2 links from other websites. If that's the case, if there are certain pages that you want to have, a lot of visibility, you want them to rank well, if they only have 1 or 2 links from other websites, there's probably not going to be a very good chance, or there's going to be less of a chance that it's going to rank well. Now, if we look at, so we'll want to look at and get more links, to those pages. Majestic is unique. In fact, not only can they show you the links to the pages, but they go a little further. They actually show you where on the page those links are. So if you're going to actually get a link, you probably, here's 20, yes, the homepage has 2,700 links from other websites. And most of those links are towards towards the top of the page, meaning that a link on a website, on somebody else's website, when they link to you, if they're linked towards the top of the page, or if they were linked on the sidebar of the page, then it's, or in an article towards the top of the, the top of the page, or the top third of the page, let's say, that's going to be more in a more important link to have than if the link is buried on the footer or in the, in the footer of the page. Because essentially when somebody, you or I, look at a web page, the links and the content that we see towards the top of the page is going to be more important, and actually because we see it. And if your link from another website is towards the top of the page, it's going to be more important than, let's say, a link that is on the footer of a page or somewhere else, on the page lower down, where it's not as visible overall. That concept has been around for years, and we know that the search engines look at not only just who is linking to you, but where that link appears on the page. Now let's look finally at one more thing here, is if we go to Google Search Console and we look at, on the left-hand side, we look at our website and we look under a thing called links, okay? And we actually see, external links, and then we see top linked pages. But we want to focus today on internal links, the top linked pages on your site. So we scroll down and go look at more. We have a page of top linked pages internally. So this is important to look at, because let's not think about how other websites are linking to you. Let's think right now about how your website is linking from one page to the other on the same domain name. Now, if we think about it, the main page is probably going to be the most important page. Now, the most important pages on your website are going to have the most links from other pages. So if there's a page, let's say a blog post that you want to rank well, but it's kind of it's buried on the site, and there's only, maybe only the / blog page links to it, and there's not many links, and you get to it, and internally there's not many pages linked to it. Well, that's not going to be an important page. If we look at this list here, an example, there's a page / link audit that actually has more links from other pages on my website to that page. There's more internal links to that page than there are actually to the home page. This is kind of interesting, and it's very interesting, because the fact that when the search engines look at my site overall and look at what pages are linking to what pages, the link audit page appears to be the most important page, whereas typically the home page should be the most important page internally, because typically, let's say in the top left corner of your page, of your website, you'll have your logo linked, and that will link to the home page. Well, there's something going on here, that there are some, there's at least one additional page on the site that links to the link audit page, but it does not link to the home page, causing this issue. So as we scroll through, the other issue is that on most websites, we do not want every page linking to every page. And there should be, pages should link to other pages. But when we look at, let's say, a 10-page or a basic, a site that's 20 pages, the home page, or the most, should be the most important page, and that should have, 19 links. And then as we go through, it's the other pages, though, those should all, those should actually have a different number when we look at the internal links, because we don't want every page linking every page, because every page is not the most important page. We essentially do want, the concept is that we want a home page, and then we want maybe a services page or a category page, and then under the category page, and we have pages underneath that. Kind of have like a pyramid, kind of concept, where the home page, and then we have a category page, where we have subcategory pages, and then we have pages underneath that. And so those, so basically the pages that are subcategory and actual pages under subcategories, those would not necessarily, those would link to the home page. They might link to some main pages, but if it's buried down in the site, it wouldn't necessarily have every single page linking to every page. So your main navigation does not need to link to every single page on the site. For example, you may have a page and a home page that links to location page, and that location page might list all your maybe 4 or 5 locations or 10 locations. Then you would click on a link on the locations page to actually get to a location page. And so that in that case, we wouldn't have every page linking to every page. Finally, so we do want to look and see internally how we are linking from page to page to page, and that and if we scroll down and look through the internal links, and we scroll down, we may have important pages that are on the site that are, for example, here's a page about 5 important SEO ranking factors. Well, that internally, Google's reporting there's only one link to that page. So most likely there's probably less of a chance that that page will rank because of the fact that it does not have as many internal links. So we don't necessarily, we don't think that it's important enough to link. And so as you go through and you're looking at which pages are ranking on your website, okay, there are going to be pages that you want to probably get some more links to. If it has less than, let's say, 3 to 5 links on your website and it's an important page, your more important pages are going to have, let's say, in this site, 180 links or more. So that's the consideration. So we want to start thinking about those types of things, and how we are linking. The other thing I would like to mention today is inlinks, and inlinks.net there is a free version, but I do recommend the paid version, because basically there's a lot, it gives you a lot more benefits. But essentially what inlinks does is helps you take care of the internal links and helps you add some schema markup code that lets the search engines know a little bit more about what that page is about in the topic. We can actually look at this particular view and see the types of links. Even though I know I have at least 100 or 200 pages on the site, I only have about 30 pages, 31 pages that are really the most important pages that I care about. Other pages are not necessarily really important to me right now. But these 30 pages are the most important ones. So what I've done is I put them into the inlink system, and actually I can see what type of link, I can see the type of links, I can see the anchor text of those, and so forth. And I would also like to mention, let's go back to a view here over at Majestic, and I'll mention anchor text. So that's one of the final things I'd like to talk about, is that these are links from other websites, the external links, but how they're linking to us. For example, the main typically since it's a company website, Hartzer Consulting, most websites are probably going to link to the homepage or link to a page on the site that says the name of the company, and that's natural, and that's good. But when we start to go through, we do want to make sure there are other links from other websites that use specific text, and that's called anchor text, and that's the actual clickable text that you click on when you click on a link. Now I can mention there's a conflict here because over 15 years ago, this Hartzer.com site, which I have always owned, was a different topic, and it was about Labrador retrievers. And there are some links still out there that use something other than Hartzer Consulting. They use the anchor text of Hartzer's Kennel or Hartzer's Labs, something like that, which there are old links. They may still be pointing to certain pages on the site that may or may not exist, but the links are there still. And so those are probably links that you'd want to change or get updated or even remove. But this is the clickable text. Now there's we think about anchor text, two issues here. We have anchor text of the links and how other websites are linking to us. Okay, for example, with my name or the company name, and that's the anchor text of links that are from external links. But today we're talking about internal links. So if we have a page about a particular service, in this case I have a page about reputation management. Well, if I mention the words reputation management internally on my site, or maybe I mention, like I said, I mention domain names, I will want to have that text in the paragraph where I mention the word domain names. That's the anchor text. I want to create a link with domain names and point that to the domain names page on my website. And so with internally anchor text, we can use whatever we want, the keywords that we want to rank for. We can use those links. We can use that text, and internally we can actually make the link. And so that link and that anchor text should describe what the page is about. So obviously my domain names page, if anywhere on my site I mention domain names, I probably want to link to the domain names page. If I have a service online reputation management, I want to use that text. If I mention it, I want to use that text and internally link that. There is an issue and with external links. So with external links from other websites pointing actually to your website, you don't necessarily want to use the exact, say you want to rank for online reputation management. Well, you don't necessarily want to use that exact text. Maybe, you might use online reputation management by Hartzer Consulting or Hartzer online reputation management. You want to kind of mix it up a little bit so that anchor text is not the exact anchor text all the time when you link to that. It's just not necessarily natural for the intent. Maybe a little bit more on the SEO side, it's kind of not natural for people to link exactly with that text, but you will have some links that has that, and that's not necessarily a problem. But we do kind of want to match it up and mix it up a little bit. Sometimes it's a max match. Sometimes it has your brand and the exact match. Sometimes it has a different version of the exact match. You change it up a little bit as you're looking for and getting links. So to summarize here, basically, we do want links from other websites. That's a given. And we want to understand which pages on our website has more links than other pages. And then internally on your website, which means these internal links, every link on the same domain name, which also includes maybe subdomain names as well, subdomains as well. Like if you use blog.hartzer.com, that would actually be still an internal link, because those are links that you have absolute control over. And so spending time understanding how you're linking internally, which pages are the most stronger pages and so forth, that's an important concept. It's something that that is something that will really enhance your search engine rankings and so forth. And if it's done properly, you don't necessarily need a huge number of links from other websites. You can actually optimize your particular site very well by looking at and doing the internal link optimization. This has been the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer for October 8th, 2020. Thanks again for listening. If you have any questions about internal links or links in general, or any of the tools that I've mentioned, or how to understand what's going on in your website, you can get in touch with me, hartzer.com. I'm also known as bhartzer on a lot of the social media websites like Twitter, but also you can follow the Hartzer Consulting channel on YouTube and subscribe, because every week there's at least 1 or 2 episodes and new episodes of the Digital Marketing with Bill Hartzer podcast. Thanks for listening today.